an entrant in your field coming every single day to eat your lunch, what are you going to do, right? What are you going to do? So today's topic is, we are going to discuss exactly that. If every day in a particular category, if there's a new entrant coming in with more or less and not very distinguishable offering, then what do you do as an already established player or an incumbent or even a new entrant in such a scenario? Yeah.
Yeah.
So for that, what we're going to discuss is all of the AI led services. So, all of us across the world are exploring AI, but really, do we understand the difference between the AI services that we use? Some of us swear by, ChatGPT, some of us swear by Claude, etc. But if you go more niche than that, and if you look at, say, maybe the video editing tools that you and I were exploring to kind of create shorter versions of our content from the stuff that we're doing here, we find that there is a problem. So, why don't you set the context for us?
Yeah, sure. So, taking from where you ended, right? When it comes to Claude or ChatGPT, etc., the question that comes is who has a better data for learning, who is giving me the results faster. Now, when it
Yes.
comes to Gen AI specifically and video creation, which is it's creating the shots and it's creating different videos from what you input or from your prompt, etc. So, it's more of the visual aesthetics that comes into play. So it's number one about the ease of the platform, that because AI is all about how newbies can use it. It's not for developers, it's not specifically for designers. It's basically for people like you and me who cannot use a Photoshop tool or an Illustrator or a Premiere Pro, who go to these kinds of platforms to make their lives easier. So for number one, ease of use is a very important parameter. Then it comes to which is giving me more sharper images, which is giving me more viral potentiality videos, which has a more better intelligence, platform specific intelligence, which is giving me a more differentiated kind of functionality that I can use. So now the question that has been going in everybody's mind is that is AI going to replace humans, or is AI there to make their lives easier, especially when it comes to the creative people, which is people in marketing,
Yeah.
people who are making the business development collaterals, people who are creating the videos day in and out, video editors. Hello.
Hi. You're still very much there.
Yeah, I'm here, right?
Yes.
Okay.
You certainly are there.
I don't.
You're not being replaced by AI. Please continue.
Right. So yeah, I mean, this is the context, this is what we are going to talk about today, that with all of these companies and the users being the people who don't really understand what a sharper image is. Like you made the joke yesterday, right? I don't understand art. So for people people like you and me, who cannot understand what color corrections are going to give me, what a blue tint, how a blue tint makes a video different from maybe a yellow tint or whatever, until the final output comes out in a big way. For us, how do these kinds of platforms differentiate them so that we can come on board to these platforms in a much simpler way?
The thing is that as preparation for this episode, we kind of revisited all the tools that we looked at, and you shared this list with me. We've chosen to work currently with wizard.ai, but there's exemplary.ai, there's clap.app, there's creatify.ai, there's descript.com, there's framedrop.com, and pictory.com, and opus.com, and I visited all of them. And trust me, I could not really understand how even they differentiate amongst themselves. So I have
Yeah.
no idea how you chose wizard.ai. For you, I'm going to hold you responsible if things don't work out. But on that note, right? If I look at the way in which this place is cluttered, right?
Yeah.
This place is cluttered. Sure, it is meant for people like you and me, but also we won't understand, would we? In the sense that we will not understand the edits. It's especially for me, I will not understand it more than 5%, like a video editor would. So in
Exactly.
that case, it becomes really critical for us to look at the consumer journey that we went through and figure out if there is a way in which we can understand how can one of these competitors actually pull away from the rest of them. So can we talk through your consumer journey? Because
Yeah.
as I said, I'm holding you responsible, but let's talk through how this worked out in your head and why did you choose Wizard.ai?
Yeah, sure. So, like you said, it's a catch-22. The people who these platforms are meant with absolutely don't understand the difference between the outputs of the different platforms,
Yes.
right? So now my journey was as simple as that. I went to Google, I searched for AI-enabled video editing tools. It gave me a list of tools. The first thing that I looked for when I went in was uh, the first blocker or the anti blocker. The rest of the platforms, they either gave me 10 credits to begin with, wherein I was not able to input my video in the first go without buying a paid plan, right, to check what kind of output is coming in. Next was, if I was able to upload the videos, the entire system was so complicated. Me as a consumer, or me as just somebody, as a strategist who just relies on the designers or the video editors to take care of the, the nitty gritties of any platform, I did not understand what the difference was, or it was too complicated for me. It was either too much into enhance AI, or I really did not understand, to be honest,
Interesting that
what the difference was between those platforms or Canva.
I just think that it's so interesting. But Janavi, you forgot your starting point of your consumer journey. The starting point, because I remember that correctly, was that I told you check wizard.ai, right? So the weird thing is that when the initiation towards your journey was driven by a human being, and it was somebody whom you hopefully trusted, and it was somebody who was actually connecting the dots and saying, okay, we'll need this kind of service, and I have heard this, and I heard it from a workshop that I'd attended at Mica. So clearly I trusted the experts who were talking to us about it. So I said, okay, can we check this out? There was a need, and all of that was there in the back of your mind when you were checking all these functions and features out. And what I'm understanding is you couldn't make head or tail out of it, right? So then
Yeah.
what made you
Yeah.
choose?
So, like you said, so that's actually a very good point, that even the AI tools are propagating through word of mouth of human beings.
Exactly.
You got that from a human being, me, a human being got that from you, another human being, right? And that's how the chain continues. So that gives us a foray into that. It might be any AI tool. We might be going into an entire world we do not understand, but the starting point of word of mouth branding, it does not change no matter what kind of a product it is. Or,
Absolutely.
right, the word of mouth or network effect, whatever you might call it. Okay, so now that was the starting, and my journey ended with the ease of use, for me to use, or gave me the kind of output that I needed,
Yes.
right, or did not create a lot of firewalls for me before I bought the paid plan. That was the one I went with, the
Okay.
freemium model, the way we say.
Yes. But again, let me just probe a little more.
Yeah.
You had, I mean, I checked all of these. These were freemium. Most of them are freemium. Most of them are talking the same gobbledygook for somebody like me. Try one, 10x your thing, etc., right? So what I'm exploring a little more is, okay, what were the human elements in you choosing one AI service over the other?
Yeah.
What I'm hearing from you right now is actually there's part of you that is kind of rationalizing it, but I want to touch the emotional side of things. Was it like, oh, this seems simple enough for me to handle, or what was happening in at the back of your head?
It was very clean, to be very honest.
Mm,
Straight as that. The platform was very, very clean. The rest of the platforms that I tried, it was too clunky for me, you might say. Right.
ex-
The one of the reasons that I would use a Framer instead of a WordPress is WordPress feels very clunky to me. Framer feels very easy, and it's very intuitive for me. So it was the same thing with Wizard AI. There were no blockers on each step. It was very clean, it was very simple, the output was extremely simple. It was the UI was very intuitive of Wizard AI. So that is what brought me to it. But coming to your question, the emotional connect, now this is where I want to bring the competitor analysis angle here.
yeah.
So we looked at around 10 to 12 competitors of Wizard AI, including their website, their social media, all of that stuff. Now, the three main competitors of Wizard AI. It is your Opus Clip, then you have your Exemplary AI, etc., etc. They were all giving me the same kind of value proposition, that you can create shorts that will go viral from your long form video.
Okay.
Now, Wizard AI is talking to agencies, marketers, freelancers, which is me, which is you. So that was the use case felt very relevant to me,
Ah,
right?
okay.
Even though everything that Exemplary or Opus Clip, they are doing the exact same thing. But the moment you mention that you are my TG, you are who I am talking to, I immediately feel okay, I am a part of the process.
So
So
the
there must be,
relevance, I think that it made you feel relevant, and the UI
yeah,
was clean, and the word you used was interesting, intuitive. So I dislike the word intuitive because it means different things for different people. I like to use the word familiar. So it just felt familiar, and the reason why it felt familiar to you was because it was relevant. Now I just want to maybe go into the storytelling aspect of it.
yeah,
If I look at, I mean, I'm not too sure whether Wizard AI still cracked it, by the way, but one of the things that I would certainly say is that there are lessons here. And the lesson here about the clean, clutter-free just reminds me of the Google search engine. Okay,
yeah,
so,
yeah,
so
exactly.
it really appealed to early adopters and innovators because it just stood out. It was not the first mover, mind you. It was a cluttered space. There were a lot of entrants coming in, but Google kind of pulled away from every other place. And one of the reasons was because what it was communicating from a story perspective is that, hey, I have the same design values that you have. They just reside at the back. They're not communicating it, but they're still communicating it, because storytelling is not just what you're saying. It's also about the way in which you're saying it, the format in which you're saying it, and the rest of it. Okay, so
Yeah,
that's one. The second thing that I thought of was of Instagram. And Instagram is really interesting because when Instagram came into being, the photographers of the world were not its target group, right? The people who are not the photographers but who wanted to be photographers were the target group to start with. Everyone is a photographer, and when everyone's a photographer, nobody's a photographer. So I think that that also is part of the appeal. The third thing that I thought of was, I am just reminded of all those entrants that came into the software services business in around early 2000s or something like that, right? When the dot com thing happened and post that, you can't. Even if you look at a lot of Indian software companies today, they find it really difficult to differentiate, to pull away from competition, because they're still fighting feature to feature, okay, function to function, ability to ability, capability to capability, and those are facts. So when you have to convert facts into stories, you have to hit emotionality, whether you're B2B or B2C. Now, coming back to any one of these tools, one of the key aspects of the story is to figure out how do I actually convert it, convert all the facts which these guys seem to be focusing on into some kind of story that will help you pull away. What do you think?
yeah. Now I like to take a step back here.
Okay.
The first thing is, like, we always keep on hounding everybody, what is your North Star? Now
Ah,
the one thing that I found in all of these companies is that North Star is missing.
hmm.
There is no differentiating factor. So like I was talking about the I mean the differentiators in competitors, right? If you do a competitor analysis, if you come to Wizard AI, it's simply just telling you, turn your long form videos into short clips, viral clips with AI magic.
Yes.
There is no takeaway from here. I don't understand. I have to scroll 3 4 scrolls to sections to see, okay, it's for freelancers or agencies, etc., but I still don't know how.
Hmm.
Now, if you come to their social, if you check out Visit AI social, they are talking to creators, even though their TG is marketers and agencies. Then if you go to their YouTube, it is all about how to's. Now, if your platform is so intuitive, sorry to use that word, if your platform is so intuitive or so clean or so easy to use, why do you need to make a how to video at all? Where is the story? Right?
Exactly.
Then
Yeah.
who is your TG? Who are you talking to? If your TG if is X, then why are you not talking to them? Or why is your communication not platform specific? Now all of these questions come from which, what is your North Star? Which
Beautiful.
like we said, is missing. And it's not just missing in Wizard AI, it's missing in Opus Clip, it's missing in Exemplary AI. Now here I'd like to come to this platform called Creatify,
Okay.
right? Clap and Creatify. Creatify is specifically for ads.
Okay.
They've given their they've given the value proposition very clearly. It's AI ads that win.
Yes.
And if you go to their website, they've provided A/B testing. They're telling you how to learn and optimize. They're telling you how to launch and test. Their wordings is very much in tandem with their North Star, which is this platform is only for performance marketing ads. Now they've given separate formats. They're telling you we can make snap ads from your same video, we can repurpose it for your
Yeah.
TikTok ads and meta ads. So I know, as a person who is doing branding, or as a person who has been in creative marketing or done A/B testing for different platforms, that a meta ad will not give the similar effects or similar results on a Snapchat ad as much as a Snapchat ad would give,
Yes.
right? So I would immediately understand, okay, this platform knows what it's talking about.
Mm.
I never got that feeling from any of
Any of
these
the others,
outrightly,
including Wizard, right? Including Wizard.
including Visit. Exactly.
Yeah,
Their North Star is missing, so their story is missing.
I completely understand that, Janavi, but you still chose Wizard as the persona. So now we are personifying the persona. We normally talk of North Star, then we get into who, after the context, of course, we try to understand who the persona is, but the persona is live here. You're the persona, right?
Yeah,
And you still chose. Now, here's the thing about the other example that you gave, Creatify, whatever, right? The problem with that was that it was very specific,
yeah,
right? So when you're very specific, you said, oh, this is not for me, which is fine, because every story needs a villain, and in that story's thing, you are the villain. You are, not just for performance marketing, you are going somewhere else with your direction, and that's fine. You can succeed. But I think there's always a little balance. You need to figure out who your persona is, okay, what you stand for, because that immediately informs whether your North Star is good as well, because they're all aligned, right? And once you figure out what your persona is and what your North Star is, you are creating a story around it. Now, I am asking you, you did not choose Wizard AI because of a story.
yeah.
So, what was the story that you created in your own head when you actually looked at Wizard AI?
To
Is the
be very honest, I think 90% of the battle was won when you recommended it to me.
good. So now we are getting into something really interesting, isn't it? Because now we're talking of the moat that you can create,
Yeah,
right? So when you're looking at a moat that you can create, what I've understood is that there are some communities which are stronger than other communities. There are some communities which are more okay, trustworthy, maybe sometimes more inspirational, maybe sometimes more just like. And what reminds me is Facebook, right? So Facebook was basically because there was a bunch of Howard guys who were more aspirational for other people. Now
yeah,
over here, you trust me, I'm somebody who's saying, okay, probably need to do this. So you agreed with, okay, we need to do something like this. So let's figure out, okay, he's saying this, okay. And I trusted the AI experts. So if I look at the way in which your innovators and your early adopters, if you choose the right community, you're
yeah,
going to basically plug into their value system, and therefore either you're going to help them create your story for you, okay, which is very possible, or you're going to feed them thoughts wherein they can create a story for you, right?
yeah.
Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
yeah. And somewhat to some degree, although I won't call it a very good playbook, Clap is doing that because it's not going
Mhm.
heavy on social at all. It's going it's deep diving on affiliate marketing. Now,
Yeah.
how does that relate to its North Star? Is because its target audience is creators. And creators want to make money. It's as simple as that. So it's giving them a platform to make money, not just by using this platform, but through this platform as an affiliate marketer. So it's creating a community of those creators who are creating on social media for the simple fact that they want to make money,
Wonderful.
right?
Yeah, no,
Now,
this is so
again,
insightful.
I will not say that it's a very strong community, because tomorrow anybody else who pays a higher price, the community will instantly shift. But now look at Canva, for example,
Yeah.
right? And Canva is a very beautiful example of how a community has been built. It is a tool that even the designers are using.
Yes.
It is a tool that any person is becoming a designer through. They have a lot of very rich AI elements.
Yes.
In fact, Canva's AI beats many AI enabled platforms itself. But how did they start? They started with MBAs. They started with corporates who wanted to make who wanted to, spend less time on using choosing templates for their PPTs, who wanted their PPTs to stand out
Yeah.
in their office presentation, so that they could either focus on the content, or when they knew that their content was stupid, at least it will look pretty, right? Which is basically what an MBA does.
Okay. You're making a lot of friends here. You're making a lot of friends here. But okay.
Right, so this is how they built a community. Now once you build a community around MBAs, these are the people who go into offices and become managers. If your manager is using Canva, then
Hmm.
even if you're a designer and you absolutely hate Canva, you will still have to use Canva, right? Because it's a platform effect, it's a network effect.
Yes, absolutely. Wow, Janavi, we have eaten 20 minutes, precious minutes of our target audience's lives, of our personas' lives. So I think that it's a good time for me to wind this up by looking at some of the insights that came through. Right. So one is in a cluttered market, you need storytelling. Right. The kind of storytelling that you need is completely based on the persona and your north star, because it really depends upon where you're trying to go.
Yeah,
The storytelling can and should also be put into your product, but has to also be connected to who's leading the company. And more importantly, what came through was who's your community, and can they co-create the story with you? Can you seed that into them? So it's a balance. What's
yeah,
your niche? Are you aiming too high or are you aiming too low? There are so many factors that from a strategic storytelling perspective should be considered before you start communicating. And for God's sake, don't communicate features. They don't work.
yes.
Facts don't work. Facts don't sell. Stories sell. Stories propel. On that happy note, let's call it quits today.
I'll just add one more thing here,
Okay.
one small second thing. Yeah,
Post
uh,
it.
I think we have spoken about this several times, that just because something is trending, that does not
Mm.
mean that it becomes your value proposition. All
Yes.
of these AI platforms, they are choosing just that because we are AI enabled, we will get adopted. But the
Yes.
problem is everybody is AI enabled these days.
Yes.
So here is where all of the takeaways, all of the insights that you've just mentioned have to come in. Your story has to come in, because
Yeah.
at one point your trend will douse off, but
Mm.
your story is what will propel you into growing as a business.
Yes. Wonderful and well said. A rising tide will always raise all boats, but then one day you need something more, right? And that is what we are talking about. Thank you, Janavi. Thank you, everybody who is going to listen to this one, and we will come back on this Thursday, right?
Yeah.
On this Thursday. See you soon.